What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Neural DSP Parallax. If you're into guitars, metal riffage, mixing, and everything in between, hit subscribe and follow along. Now, I realize that this plugin has been out for the better part of a year, but the fact of the matter is I use my Helix for all of my guitar and my bass tones, and I've been happy with them. But in the interest of exploring new tools and having played around with some of Nero's other plugins, I figured why not give this a shot. So we're going to take a look at a re-recording of my newest single, Black is Metal, which is available everywhere. I retracked my bass performance through my audio interface and recorded a clean DI track. I then sat and played around with the Parallax plugin for a while and came up with a tone that I'm pretty pleased with. So let's jump over to the computer and see what I did. Alright, so let's go through what I did. First of all, we've heard the track, but let's listen to a chunk again. Now let's listen to the bass on its own. Again, let's listen to it in context. Now, obviously, there is a ton of grit and hair on this bass tone. So let's go back and listen to my original bass tone, the tone from my Helix, that was actually on the EP, or the single, excuse me. So let's listen to that. Obviously, the new one has a substantial amount of low end that this one doesn't. So I'll show you what I mean. My mistake. So one can argue, and you would have a good argument, that there's too much low end in this bass tone. Now, I didn't process it as much as I may for a final mix because I wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what this thing sounds like. And what I have going on the new bass tone is I have the Parallax EQ, then I have the L1 limiter basically flattening out my bass track. So I'll show you what it's doing. And some of you guys who follow me have already seen me go through this, but I'll show you nonetheless. So just keep an eye on what this limiter is doing. And basically, it's just turning it into a flat waveform. And I like to do that with my metal bass specifically. And then I have a little bit of EQ going on. I'm rolling off some of the low end. I have a bit of a bump here at the principal low end frequency. At the principal low end frequency, I kind of have a bump. Maybe it's a little extreme. And then I'm rolling off some of the harsh high end. So let's see what that's doing. So yeah, not doing a ton of shaping again. And I have, my master bus settings on here per usual. But there's something about this I'm really, really enjoying. I don't know. It's ironic to say it sounds a little bit more real, even though I know it's like a real hyped up bass tone. But it's gnarly. It's so gnarly in a good way, I think. So if we go back, give her a listen. There might be too much boomy low end, but that's something you can tweak in the mix. And I could lower I want that low end there so that I have the ability to kind of control it in the mix. But I made this, preset, but I'm telling you you can get a great jump just from the default. Like, let's go to default. All right, so here we go. This is my preset. Cool. Let's just go to default. Still gnarly and nasty and usable. Let's just go through some of the presets. Some of these are super extreme, and it would take a very specialized use case, obviously. Digging that one. A little more of a natural sound. Extreme fuzz, to say the least. A lot of usable tones here. But let's go back to mine and see what I did. So I have this compression knob up to 0.59, and this compressor is, I don't know what the voodoo behind it is, but it flattens out the low end. Inconsistencies in your playing are kind of like, you know, it helps with that, and it's transparent sounding. You just feel like it just extends your notes, your low end. It keeps it more consistent. So I'll turn it on and off, and hopefully you'll be able to hear a difference. I mean, obviously turning it off, turn off all the low end, but when I lowered it down to nothing, the low end is still there, but it just really kind of flattens it out. Now I'm just jacking with it. You got this mid frequency here. So you can have, you know, in conjunction with this EQ, where I'm boosting some high end and I have the high shelf up a little bit, you can brighten up your bass tone without having the distortion on. And you bring in that gnarly distortion, and it's gnarly. And again, this bass tone is not going to work for everything. For the type of stuff I write, for the type of sound I prefer and I look for, this is great, but this is not going to work for everything. And I'm sure plenty of you are going to let me know. What else do we have in here? And then you have the mic and speaker emulation. So I have two mics going on here, a 421 and the Ribbon 121. I'll kind of go through these settings real quick. I'm going to share this with you guys, and you guys can tweak to your heart's content. So let's see what happens if we turn off one of these. So this is just the 121 Ribbon mic. Pretty sick on its own. And this is the 421. Nice, and both of them. See what happens if I flip the phase. Garbage. And there is any number of mics you can choose from here and blend, and you can also load your own IRs. I didn't load any IRs on this one. I wanted to kind of see how this worked. So, I mean, this plugin can kind of yield a ton of different sonic and bass tone results. You can get a more of a natural kind of just, you know, bass through an amp type of feel, and you can get these super heightened, extreme, gritty metal bass tones that will kind of like fill out your mix. And again, it might be a little too extreme in some cases, but this is kind of the sound I like and I go for in these types of productions. So let's listen to this part again. Let's listen with my old bass tone. Now, it's hard for me to say whether or not I'll completely abandon my Helix bass tone. I know it doesn't sound as polished, or, you know, I feel like this Parallax bass tone is definitely something like if you're jamming along with stuff and listening and practicing, it's a sick tone to play with, to play through. You can feel it, you can hear the high end, but in the context of a mix, I still might lean towards my Helix tone because it's a little more refined, a little more deliberate. That's not to say I can't get there with the Parallax. And of course, my playing was a lot cleaner with my Helix tone because I played it and recorded it for the single release. And there's less low end. I mean, I'm doing all sorts of controlling, and I mean, I'm rolling off quite a bit, and I'm boosting the highs a ton. I'm compressing it even more. So, you know, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but if you're looking for a great metal, scratch that. If you're looking for a great plugin to kind of give you great bass tones, I definitely think you should check out the Parallax. You can go from clean bass tones, old school sounding bass tones, mic'd, amped sounding bass tones, heightened, extreme, gritty bass tones like this, and everything in between. You can load your own IRs. The interface is clean. You have a lot of control with the crossovers, distortion in the mids, distortion in the high end. This EQ has a high and a low shelf. I mean, it is truly a wonderful, and it's a delight to work with. So definitely check it out. I think it's worth it. All appropriate links down below in the description, including links to my music. And if you dig what I'm putting down, hit subscribe and follow along. So needless to say, this thing sounds sick. There's something, I don't know, three-dimensional, or I don't know, it's got a little bit more realism to my ears. I'm not sure how to explain exactly what it is I'm feeling and hearing with this thing, but it sounds sick. So we will see if going forward I end up using this in some of my productions. I hope you guys found this video useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe and bell notification and all that jazz. I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much to all my new subscribers, and thank you guys for all the positive comments and all of the positive interaction. It really means everything. And of course, a huge thank you to those of you who are supporting me over on Patreon and here as a member on YouTube. Your continued support and encouragement is really what pushes me to keep doing this channel and to try and share as much as I can to help you guys be creative and make the music you want to make. And if you're looking for other ways to support me and the channel, I do have music available for sale on Bandcamp, and of course, it's streaming everywhere music is streamed and sold. And if you haven't already, don't forget to check out my new single, Black as Metal. I have a performance video available here on YouTube. It's available for sale on Bandcamp and on my webpage. And of course, if you haven't already, follow me on Spotify and give it a few streams. Thank you guys so much for all of the support, and we'll see you in the next one.